My name is Alex Costa, and I'm the CEO and owner of A&R Design. I hunt birds. That's one of my hobbies. I didn't grow up with like a hunting background, but my next door neighbor, Sean, he was a hunter. He was in the Coast Guard, and I also worked for him for a period of time when I was younger. I got my first bow because I wanted to target shoot a hunting bow in the backyard. Sean was like my uncle growing up pretty much. And I would go to his house and I'd go to the range with him and shoot. My dad ended up getting me my first gun. My father bought me a Benelli Nova 12 gauge pump when I was 21. You know, part of me wishes like I had firearms earlier in life because they're such a big part of my life now.
Find the bird! Find the bird! Good girl, come here. Good girl.
I was very excited for this year's hunting season because I had put in work, dog work, every week since the end of last season. Through winter, Ryu and I were training with Dave at On Point Kennels doing forced fetching. We were doing bird pointing and retrievals. So going into the season, we were really excited, but we decided to go to Pittsburgh and link up with a college friend of mine, Kevin, who I haven't seen since college. He has a Vizsla, a 6-year-old Vizsla. His dog was trained by Dave at On Point Kennels, and Dave put us in contact again and was like, hey, you should talk to Kevin, man. I hadn't hunted Pittsburgh, so I was excited to go with someone that kind of was familiar with the area. Kevin, his dad, and his dog. So we decided to drive up super early, link up with them, and get to our first cover on grouse.
Oh, where did that end? Oh yeah, go left, follow it, see that path? Straight to your, like, 11, okay. Oh yeah.
So we finally got into the bird cover, and she was working close to us. She wasn't like ranging like she usually does. Usually I let her go out at least, 30 yards. I know that she's not super steady on grouse. She still gets a little too close to them and flushes them when we're not near her. But she was working like super close. She was kind of like getting in front of us by 10 yards and kind of circling behind us, where his Vizsla was ranging at like 40 yards to the right of us, and his dog went on point. And then we came in to back it, and the first one got up.
You got it. Did I?
Yeah.
Yep.
I put some shot into it. Kevin ended it, and his dog brought the bird up. And, we were good. We're like, all right, cool. We got on a grouse. We already nailed a grouse in the first 15 minutes. That's pretty fantastic.
Oh yeah. Grouse hunting is a team effort.
We started kind of spreading out and moving down the backside of the hill, and his dog went on point again. Kevin and his dad were right of us, and they did push that bird, and it got up.
Oh, grouse! I got it! I shot it! Nice! Good deal. Ryu!
I watched it hit the ground, but I watched it get up. So I hit it enough to knock it out of the air, not enough to stop the bird. And Ryu immediately got on the scent trail and started working the bird.
Where's the bird? Where's the bird?
I was tracking her on my GPS. She found the grouse kind of tucked under a rock. It was kind of hiding behind like a little ledge of a rock. She stayed on point. I pushed it with her. She ended up grabbing, retrieving it, bringing it to me.
That was a good track, man.
Yeah. That's a big bird. Nice job.
Okay.
That's also a fairly middle-aged.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Ryu, you're so cute. Colorblind motherfucker.
I recovered the bird. We were celebratory. It was my first bird with her in a year, our first grouse with her in a year. Super excited. And then we started noticing the blood.
Here. Oh, she's always right under there.
Right, the right shoulder.
I ran the chest all day yesterday. I took it off today because it's raw. Come.
Yeah, that's not. She's got blood on her though.
Foot. Come. Foot.
Oh, f my dog's f***ing hurt.
All right.
Oh, she's. Oh, she split a pad.
Oh no.
That's game over.
she split her toe all the way down to the nail bed base and bone, which is that's a season-ending injury for most dogs. Sorry, baby. We were able to get back to the vehicle and start doing medical on her. Got her wrapped up, and then that was it. We had to go. So we drove from there straight to Concord, New Hampshire, to Concord Emergency Medical Veterinary Services, their Caves, I think it's called, and sat in the ER for 7 hours before they saw her. They told me 10 to 12 weeks, maybe longer. I used something called Tough Foot on her. It has a sap from a Bolivian plant that's a bonoseptic antiseptic, and I basically treated her with that 3 times a day for the first 2 or 3 weeks. She had a boot on when we would walk her, but she was pretty much crated for 3 weeks. It's right there. I don't know if you can see it. This was split all the way to the back of her pad, and it's mended all the way up. No deformation of her toenail, but it's a little split at the tip, but it's just dryness. She's in really good shape. After she repaired enough, and it looked like she hadn't had any splitting discharge and the pad started to heal up, that's when I decided to book a day at New England Upland Club. It's a pheasant stalking club, and they also have chuckers and huns depending on the season. But we had 10 pheasants put out. We got out there. I put a boot on her foot just to protect it, just in case it did somehow open up on the pad. I duct taped her up, and we were on the hunt. Hunt him up. Good girl, come here. Good girl. Good girl. What are you doing? Good girl. She was working really, really well. She was not bum rushing into the cover. She was taking her time. She was working it carefully. She was ranging really, really, really well. At one point, she was kind of like limping and being a little weird on her foot, but I deduced that it was just the duct tape pulling on the hair. I frantically tore off the boot to see if she was okay, and she was totally fine. Go, Ryan. All right, I'm thinking. We wanted to do every year for the last 2, this would be the 3rd year in a row. I've done New England Upland Club as like an end of the year rooster roundup. Just get her on a bunch of birds, target rich environment, controlled environment, get her on some birds and just kind of see how all the pieces fit together that season for her.
I knew it was going to be tough. Thank you. Good girl. I knew it was going to be tough with the wind.
There was one rooster that was in some thicker reeds and some water on the edge of the trail in one of the bigger fields that they have there. And she went on point super long. We had a lot of wind too. It was like 30-mile-an-hour gusts at some points with a steady like 10. So that's pretty good wind. So she pointed like 60 feet on this rooster. You know, I gave her about 20 feet on a push, didn't see anything, didn't move anything. She crept in a little bit more to get more target locked. And then I decided, okay, if I push in too early, this thing's gonna run across the next trail and dip into the other side of the field and we're not even gonna see it. So I circled back out to the trail, so if it did try to pass me, it would feel more comfortable in the cover. So it stayed in the cover and kind of did some circles, and she'd push in a little bit more. And then I called her in at one point and she wasn't moving because she knew, she's like, if I push, like I'm gonna do something wrong. And she knew her threshold for distance. So then I saw the rooster and I kept working the rooster kind of back and forth just to tighten that gap between the rooster, between the two of us. I kept the rooster in line with us so that it just constantly felt that pressure, and eventually she got close enough, it got up and I shot it. she did really, really well at New England Upland Club, and it was kind of like that hole in my heart that was missing, because like 19th of October, that's only 19 days into a 60 plus day bird season. That was like crushing. That was like absolutely soul crushing. I wait all year to hunt over her. It's therapeutic being in the woods and not thinking about business, not thinking about employees, not thinking about anything but family and her. And just no distractions, and the peace and quiet and the ability to like kind of focus on your soul. And that's what it's all about for me, is just working with her. But going to see Scott and Adam at New England Upland Club, shoot 10 birds over her, and watching her work and watching her be steady on the point. And then as that scent trail tapers off because the bird's moving, she readjusts and gets back on point. She did a really, really good job. Like, the dog work was fantastic. And that made me feel whole again, that like, okay, this season wasn't lost. She did learn and retain and accomplish a lot this year. But now it's winter, time to train.